Let's go next to our caller from the 646 area code. Who's calling today from 646?
Hi, David. Is this me?
Yes, it is.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm from Chappaqua, New York,
Hey,
about
Ben.
half a mile from the Clintons, as a matter of fact.
Of course.
So, yeah, so I'm 17 years old, and I'm very politically active. I really have been into politics since probably even before 2016, my parents and all that. And I've noticed that a lot of other guys my age come from pretty left-wing families,
Mm-hmm.
but they've sort of gotten absorbed into this sort of libertarian, borderline Trump, right-wing ideology based on, I feel like, of a lot of the media, more independent media such as Michael Knowles, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Kent State Gun Girl, PragerU. And I feel like these people have created this sort of cynicism towards certain social aspects such as feminism or LGBT rights.
Sure.
And I feel like personally I've gotten sucked in a little bit too. And I'm worried that this may actually help Trump win again. Like, for example, in 2016, I was the guy yelling that Bernie was too far right. But now, honestly, and it's going to be my first primary voting, and I'm probably going to vote for Joe Biden. I
All
don't know
right,
if
but
it's
hold
just
on a
I've
second.
grown
Let's
up
see if we can
or
break these things down a little bit. Uh, so I take it that now you think Bernie is too far left. You used to think he was too far right. Now you think he's too far left. On what issue is Bernie too far left in your mind?
with me, I feel like I've gotten absorbed. Again, I say I feel like he's targeting a different audience in this election.
How
I felt
so?
like
Who's he
he's
targeting?
in 2016 younger in inner city voters as opposed to the country as a whole. Rural middle American voters that ended up voting for Trump, which is what part of which really got me into him.
But
And
so
also, I
through what?
feel
Hold
like
on a second.
my
We're skipping a lot of stuff. Through what policy do you feel Bernie is targeting inner city voters rather than rural voters? What policy?
I feel like he's now turning from. I think yes, he's still a lot of. There's a lot of the old Bernie in there about it's Wall Street, it's Wall Street. But I feel like there's still a lot of Trump's a racist, as opposed to then saying that as opposed to saying that this policy is inefficient. I feel like he's trying to get younger millennial kind of gotten millennial voters really hepped up as opposed
Hasn't
to
Bernie been doing both though? I mean, hasn't Bernie been saying this is a thing that Trump said that's just racist, calling, Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas or whatever. But then Bernie seems very policy centric. He's talking about here's why Trump's trade ideas don't work. Here's why Trump's ideas on healthcare don't work. Here's how Trump's geopolitical and foreign policy ideas don't work. I mean, I'm just not seeing that. Okay, so you said that he's pointed out that Trump has said racist things. Who hasn't? Joe Biden has pointed that out as well, and you say you like Joe Biden. So
of course.
what is it that Bernie's doing that Joe isn't that you feel is turning you off?
Another thing that I remember I actually saw on your show is his affiliation with Linda Sarsour
Sure.
and close relationship with AOC and Ilhan Omar. I'm Jewish. I visited Israel. It's a very big part of my identity, and I feel that I think I'm not one of these people that says BDS is not okay. Of course, it's free speech, but publicly associating yourselves with, personally, I feel Ilhan Omar is anti-Semitic, but I think that
Ben, you're breaking up terribly, but listen, if you can still hear me, I agree with you that Bernie
I
should
can,
have
yeah.
no association with Linda Sarsour, but I want to point out to you because, we're examining your beliefs here. Your first argument was that you believe Bernie has shifted to targeting urban millennials over rural voters, and you don't like that. And when I asked for examples, the one you came up with is something that Joe Biden also does. And now you're shifting to something else, which is you don't like Bernie's associations with some people. Are you cognizant of the fact that the first assertion you made, you haven't so far been able to back up with any real good examples that are unique to Bernie?
Yeah, I do understand that. I feel like maybe I've just been listening to him more lately or something, but I don't know. I personally, back in 2016, I saw him as this sort of European-like socialist, and I've just seen him talk more lately in the last 2 or 3 years about certain issues like women's rights, immigrant rights, which, I'm all for, but if a candidate is running on those issues,
Hold on a second.
that
Well, hold on a
makes
second.
me,
Ben, let me ask you a question. If I said to you, when you think about Bernie's candidacy, what's the number one issue you associate with Bernie?
I mean, like, problem I have with him or
No, no, no,
issue
no,
he
no.
addresses.
The number one political issue that is the most important pillar of his platform. What would you say it is?
I'd say is tackling big corporations and Wall Street.
No, no, no.
Now
But the
also is
policy, hold
shifting
on
to
a second. I
healthcare
know
as
you know what
well.
it is. What's the policy that is associated with Bernie specifically that was the biggest issue for him in 2016 and remains the biggest issue, which now everybody, many people have come around to agree with him on?
Wealth tax.
No, it's healthcare. Okay, I'm giving you the answer.
No,
So listen,
yeah,
Medicare for all, right? This is to say that
yeah.
Bernie's candidacy is based on women's rights. Listen, Bernie's candidacy is, of course, predicated on the idea that we need to treat people equally under the law and equality of opportunity and so on and so forth. But Bernie is in my mind, is the healthcare guy number one, and is the inequality and corporate cronyism guy number two. I think maybe it just seems as though you have a bit of a inaccurate perception maybe of what is. You can still not like Bernie. You can still like Biden over Bernie. I'm just not hearing from you what sound to me like really well thought out reasons for it, and that's what concerns me.
And to be honest, I agree with you. I think it's partially, that one person, someone a couple of weeks ago said you should interview Hunter Avallone. I was, let's just say I had some issues. I won a big award at school and was screamed at and called a white cis male, and that I won it only because of that status, which, okay, that's neither here nor there, but that got me, sucked into the Hunter Avallone, Ben Shapiro, and I think that's turned me a bit cynical on these issues.
Right.
And
So it sounds like
distorted
maybe
my
this
perception.
personal experience that you had, you are now projecting onto Bernie Sanders, even though it may not be based in fact. Is that possible, Ben?
Yeah.
It's
I
possible.
mean, that's human nature.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Ben, listen, I'm glad that you are willing to hear reason and to think through these issues. I appreciate you calling me today.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. We'll
Love
talk
the
to you
show.
again, I hope. Sorry to everybody I didn't get to. That does it for calls today. We will take calls again and we'll talk to everybody next week.